Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 12 of Robbie's Backstage Bants. And today is a very special episode because I am joined by Kerry Ellis, who is a West End and Broadway star. So welcome, Kerry.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me on. This
It's
is
absolutely
lovely.
such an honor to have you on.
Mhm.
So how have you been? How have you been?
Not bad. You know, COVID has had its highs and lows. It's had
Yeah.
um some good things that I get to be at home with my family and spend some time with my kids, but some tough times for the industry. I mean, it's been pretty dark. However, it's kind of it's forced me into some slightly different avenues, like doing my podcast and writing my
Yeah.
book and working on some music. So that's been good. It's not how I was expecting my 2020 to be. I was meant to be quite busy and doing lots of touring and stuff,
Yeah.
but it's we're getting through it. We're surviving.
Yeah, we are. We are. And theatre will be back as things are coming back now. Slowly but
Yeah,
surely, things are coming back, which is brilliant.
yeah, yeah.
My first questions for you today are about your how you got to where you are. So the first question is, what is the journey of how you got to where you are today?
Well, that's being written at the moment and it's going to be released at Christmas. But
Interesting.
it was kind of part of the reason I thought, now is quite a good time to write a book because
Yeah,
I had my 40th last year, and I thought there's a lot of information that people know already, and then there's a lot of information that people don't know. And I thought I should take advantage of this time of being at home
hmm,
and being able to put all those memories together before I forget them as well, and before we
yeah,
move on. And it's kind of, for me, lockdown's a bit of a stopgap, and so I thought this is a perfect time. But in a nutshell, I grew up in the country. I went to local dance school. I loved theatre, loved singing, went to drama school, and then got straight into. I did a few jobs, but then got into a West End show, My Fair Lady, and then literally
yeah,
from there it just went show to show to show to show, and I was
literally.
really fortunate. Yeah, I know it was. It's funny, and I it's not that I didn't realize it was happening, but now I look back and I'm talking about it in the book. It's really interesting and to see how big the shows were, and it was big show after big show, and I don't think I
Yeah.
quite registered it at the time.
No, I don't think anyone does, but then they look back and go, wow, I was
Yeah,
in that. Yeah. And
yeah.
my next question was there anything in mind when you were younger that you were going to go down the route of, like career-wise, and you didn't?
Not anything dramatically different.
No.
I did think at one point I wanted to be a pop star, and which I kind of still do. I'm still chasing that dream a little bit, but more so, I, I want, I love being on stage, and I think being able to sell out your own theatres or your own arenas is another level. And I
Yeah.
think that for me is still to come. I love the theatre and I love all the things I get to do, but I would still like to do a few bigger venues, I think.
Why not?
Why not?
Aim
You
for the
got to
stars.
put it out
Yeah.
there in the ether, and maybe it comes back to you.
Probably will. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Um, so now we're just going to get into your career. So I'm just going to sort of go through the things that you've done and we can talk about what they were like. So obviously first you mentioned My Fair Lady. And was this like your first taste of a lead role, understudying?
Kind of. I had done a show called Magic of the Musicals before that, which was a touring show with Marty Webb and Dave Willits, and an ensemble of like 6 people, and it was touring around the country doing tons of dates, and
Wow.
I was a swing on the show. So there was 4 ensemble, and then there was myself and my friend Stephen Palin, who's now a fabulous agent and directs Mamma Mia, and it's
Wow,
really
that is
successful.
incredible.
So the two of us were like the understudies, if you like, for the ensemble. We were like swings for the ensemble, and we went on a lot. In the bigger venues we were added in, and in the smaller venues we kind of were taken out. And during that show, Marty Webb um, got poorly. Her voice went, and she literally, it was in the afternoon, and just run down, lots of singing, lots of shows,
Yeah.
and she just lost her voice. And Mitch Sebastian, who was the director, kind kind of called a bit of a crisis meeting and said, you know, well, Kerry, you could step in and sing a few of these songs. And I was like, yeah, I could actually. And I did. And it was amazing because that kind of was the first time I'd stepped in for like a big, you know, celebrated person. You know, people love Marty Webb. She did Tell Me on a Sunday. She did Evita, and people would come from all over the country to see her. So to have that pressure of her not being there and singing for her was quite something. But it then gave me a little bit of experience before I then went on and did My Fair Lady and had the same thing happen.
Yeah, and I bet that was absolutely incredible. I mean,
oh, I loved Mum. I loved it. So I mean, so much. It's quite a long time ago now. I don't almost remember. I remember glimpses of being on the stage and being with Jonathan Pryce and wearing the costumes, but I don't remember a lot of it because it was nearly 20 years ago. Oh God.
Well, from there, you went on to be in the original cast of We Will Rock You.
I did. And I did Rocky for about 2 years, and I loved the show so much. We had so much fun. Obviously, I met Brian there, so that was that changed my life again and in another way. But yeah, we just ran around like rock stars. We were all in our 20s. We were working in London. We were hanging out with Queen. We were, there was loads of celebrities coming to see the show. I mean, it was one of those. Again, I look back on it and go, oh my God, that was pretty immense. Amazing. I loved it so much. And then to get to sing those songs every night and to have a standing ovation and have that response was amazing. And I'm also forever grateful to that show for No One But You, a song I've kind of gone on to sing all over the world. And it all started from me singing it in that show. And I'm forever grateful.
And obviously Brian becoming such good friends as well, which is it's obviously incredible. And then from there, I believe it was Miss Saigon.
It was. So then I went on tour for a good year.
Is that different to West End then? Quite.
Yeah. I mean, again, there's good and bad things with touring. There's some great things because you become a real strong like family unit because you're thrown together, you tour around the country, you're not seeing your friends and family, you're suddenly with this new unconventional family, so you do become very close very quickly. I was really fortunate. I had great people. Lovely Stephen Horton, who played my Chris, was just brilliant, and we had a great time. We had a good laugh. And also all the Filipinos that had flown over to be in the show, again, they know each other. They're a real tight community, if you like, and they've toured in, a lot of them had toured in the show before, so they kind of like this touring unit that would cook on a Sunday and we would all get together, and it was amazing. It really was amazing.
It does sound nice. And then again, that was another big, huge role.
Massive, I know.
And then obviously Wicked happened.
Well, actually, Les Mis happened first.
Oh yeah, Les Mis.
But then I did Les Mis. I went back into town for a year to do that, and then I got Wicked. And Wicked was a game changer. It suddenly, everybody knew who I was and what I was doing. I mean, people kind of did from My Fair Lady and We Will Rock You, but suddenly it was a step up. I think because of the nature of the show and the role, there's a lot of expectation. There's a lot of eyes on you when you're playing that role. There was a lot of press and a lot of hype around the show, and it was great. And then that show took me to Broadway, so again, it brought so many things. I then got my first record deal coming off the back of that show with Decca Records, and it brought a lot. That show did, and I loved doing it.
Your awards that you got for that as well?
Got some awards along the way as well. Forget about these things.
Oh, I did that, and Wicked is Elphaba. It for a start is a role I think everyone dreams to play.
Yeah, and it is the most phenomenal role. It really is. And
Yeah.
it does, you don't leave the stage. You're running around for 3 hours. You wear some amazing
Green.
costumes. The green is amazing because it really transforms you. And the cast were amazing. The songs, the sets, you really feel like you're in a movie the whole time.
Yeah, was there any difference on Broadway than West End, or was it the same?
Yeah, not really. Not really.
No.
I mean, I took all my own costumes and stuff with me from London, so that was very familiar. The set was exactly the same. What was weird though was because obviously I was so used to being in London the set was exactly the same. So you think you're in a familiar place and then you
Yeah.
go off into the wing and it's completely different. And that would freak me out because you'd almost forget where you are for a second. Then you go in the wing and be like, oh. And then when I came back to London, the same thing happened. I was like, this is familiar, but not familiar.
This is weird.
Yeah, it was great though. I love New York. New York was great. I'd love to go back with something else
Yeah, why
sometime,
not?
but something that's a bit easier to sing because I couldn't go out and socialize. I couldn't enjoy myself. I literally had to live
Yeah,
like, really cautiously and take care of my voice and
absolutely.
look after myself. So I'd like to go back with something a little less demanding.
Yeah. And obviously you mentioned Les Mis. That's another legendary show.
Yeah, love Les Mis. I mean, Les Mis was important to me because it was the first big West End show I saw when I was a kid. And I remember I've told this story endless times, but went up to London with my parents for my 13th birthday and they took me to see Les Mis and it was a big deal. It was a lot of money. We lived in Suffolk, so it was a big journey and
Yeah.
we had dinner and we saw the show and they took me shopping and it just felt like I feel like a kid in a film. I really was like, this is the most amazing thing. And watching the show, we were sat right up at the back. Watching the show was just like, yeah, this is what I have to do. It
Yeah.
ignited something. Although I'd been around theatre before that, seen local shows where up in Suffolk, been to the Wolsey Theatre and pantomimes and bits of pieces from home, but nothing on that scale, nothing on that level, and that did change things.
I bet. Fontaine.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know. It was a special role to play, and again, I had a brilliant cast around me. John Owen Jones was the most
Yes.
magnificent Jean Valjean, and
Absolutely.
Shauna Scoffery playing Enjolras was amazing. It was again a lot of fun. Great shows.
You've had great fun through everything you've been in. Oliver.
Oh my god, I love Oliver. I loved Oliver. I mean, I loved them all. I did love them all.
Yes.
I did love Oliver. Again, it was a show that I had my eye on when I was a kid, but I thought maybe might not get the opportunity to play this because things have to be around, you have to be available, and you have to be right for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, Oliver was wonderful, and also because I'd mentored on the show slightly when I was doing Wicked. To find a Nancy, they came in and we did a little section of the TV show, so that was really nice because I had a connection with it, and then to go in and take over was great. It was a lot of fun.
I mean, that is a classic. I can't imagine anyone who has not watched the film.
No, I know. I think I need to get my kids to watch it. In fact, we watched Charlie and the Chocolate Factory last night for the first time for them, obviously, and I was singing all the songs, and they're like, "That, shut up." But it's funny though because you start to see, like, my kids would probably want to see the newer version because they're young and it's brighter but for me that old version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and the same with Oliver, that old version is just the best. I just love it. So it's real Christmassy as well. You just want it to be Christmas when you watch Oliver.
I know. I'm waiting for Christmas, not gonna lie.
And the Wizard of Oz.
I love Halloween. Oh, the Wizard of Oz. But like Christmas is where it's at.
Well, I think this year, especially because it's been such a tough year for everyone, I think people are going to really look into Christmas.
I'm so hoping things work out for Christmas.
I hope they don't lock us down. That would be depressing, wouldn't it?
Just. Especially for you.
Oh, I know. You know what? It would be a shame because Christmas is usually a really good time for me as well, and it's usually a really busy time. And I love it. I love doing lots of different concerts and which is normally what happens. But this year it's, you get 3 concerts booked in and one of them happens, 2 of them get moved or one of them gets it's constantly changing, and it's really hard, really hard. But I hope my little Christmas song does some good. I've got a little Christmas single coming out, so hopefully that'll do some good.
Can't wait for that. And then Anthems just happened out of the blue.
Oh, Anthems, yeah. Well, I mean, I've been working on Anthems with Brian we took about 10 years. We didn't take 10 years to do the album, but we took 10 years to get to that point. Because we'd been in and out of the studio for years. And it was a voyage of discovery, really. We weren't in there all the time, maybe once or twice a month or something, and just trying out different songs, trying out different styles, and what would suit me, what was the right way to put my first album out. And I think we got it right eventually, but it did take its time. But it was amazing. I mean, it was such a good introduction into the music industry. And I couldn't have asked for a better mentor or a better person to guide me through it. Brian kind of educated me completely in the music world, and
absolutely
it still is, but we collaborate in a very different way now to what we used to, because he used to be the mentor and I was just soaking up all this information of how to work in a studio, how to be in a studio, what needs to be mixed, what happens from the sketching out a song to actually delivering it to a record company. And I'm forever grateful, and I love that we still collaborate now, and I think our stuff is even better than it was back then. But I'm still really proud of Anthems, really proud.
Yeah, I bet. And then a lesser known musical, War of the Worlds.
Yeah, that was just played apparently. I missed it.
It was.
I missed it. I'll have to I did have a few messages. War of the Worlds came out of the blue, really. I got a phone call from Jeff Wayne saying, "I'd like to meet you," and he lives up in Hertfordshire, which isn't far from me. And I went down to his house. He's got this big, beautiful, lovely house. You've got a lovely long driveway that you drive in. You're like, oh gosh, what's going to happen? And he was the nicest man. I went and sat and we had a chat around, and his son-in-law was there, and we had a chat and a bit of a sing through, and it was great. And then the show was something quite different for me. I'd not really done anything like that before.
No.
But to get to play those arenas and have an introduction to playing arenas was fantastic. And to be involved in something that is so heavily respected and supported. I mean, it's got its own world of supporters. It's amazing. It's almost like the Rocky Horror Show. People come and they dress up, and it's known all over the world. It was mental, but I really enjoyed being part of it, and Jeff was wonderful. And we got to do the DVD, so that's kind of good right now.
Which is, it's out there and people can watch it, which is something that I think we've all relied on through lockdown.
Absolutely.
And then a legendary show, Cats.
I had the best time. Well, again, Cats was another one. I wasn't sure whether, I remember going to see Cats with the school and loving it when the cats come in the audience, and I just fell in love and thinking one day, I want to play Grisabella, obviously.
Don't we all?
And we all. And I didn't think it would happen because, again, it wasn't around. And then they brought it into the Palladium, and thank God they did, because I got the opportunity to play it. I'm so grateful. I loved singing that song. I loved being part of that show. I loved being in the ensemble bit at the beginning and doing the dancing. And it was so much fun. And to do it at the Palladium as well was a real treat. It was really good.
So what advice would you give to aspiring cats?
Ooh.
Don't know where that came from.
I like it though. Well, I think it's a tough time at the moment for people that people that are trying to get in the industry now, that are training right now, or have just graduated, or have been in the business for a little while. It's such a difficult time. The business can be difficult at the best of times. You can be in work and out of work, but I think the difference with that is that we are used to being quite resilient and finding something else to do, but at the moment there's nothing else to do. So I do feel for those younger people, and also the people that are in training, because I know training is very different at the moment. Some of it's done on Zoom, some of it is in smaller classes, and I think the thing about drama school, or theatre colleges, is it's about being with other people. It's about interacting and how you connect
Absolutely.
with people, and that's not happening right now. It can't happen,
Especially not on Zoom.
especially not on Zoom. And I think we're doing really well, and I think that everybody's taken to it, and we're finding a way to communicate, which is fantastic. But what our industry is all about is communicating, and communicating with each other, with audiences, with a screen, with it's more than not being in the same room. And I think it's tough for them right now, so
Yeah.
hats off to all those people that are training right now.
It's rough at the moment. It really is. And then something I didn't know you'd done, but then I listened to it the other day and I've really fallen in love with it. Wonderland.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think Wonderland was, apart from the play, Wonderland was probably my last musical, really,
Yeah.
to date. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. I mean, the best thing for me about Wonderland was meeting Frank Wildhorn, and having a friendship there, because we've gone on to write a few songs together, and I think we're not done yet. I feel like there's more to come from us. But yeah, the show was a lot of fun. It had its issues and its problems, but the music was fantastic. We had a lot of fun on the tour.
Yeah.
And the show was fun to do. It wasn't it didn't quite make it, like, it didn't quite get finished, I think. I think if it was to come into the West End, it would need a complete revamp. But the intent was there, and the kind of, I don't know, the magic was there, definitely, and the music.
Yeah.
Frank knows how to write a tune, he really does, and the songs went down a storm, and the show was really well received. It just needs a bit of a better story, I think, a bit of a better through line. But it was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I just want to and I'm sorry if anything's been missed, move on to like now, as in like this year you started your podcast.
Yeah. Keep calm and carry on. Thank
Yeah,
you.
exactly. Get that
Yeah.
going. And you've done loads of concerts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was meant to have a crazy year,
Yeah.
which is what kind of spawned my little album as well. My
Yeah.
Feels Like Home album. I thought I had one somewhere. Oh, I do. Look. Wait.
Go.
I'll have to send you one. Wait.
Oh.
So I wanted to make this, because I had a really good year of solo dates, concerts all over the country, and internationally. And I wanted to have something that I could take with me, that, you could do a show and then go out afterwards and, sign an album and have that interaction.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be something that people could just click and download, and I wanted it,
It's not the
something that people
same.
can hold and treasure and read and look at the book and the pictures. I want.
That's what
So
I
for
love
me,
about physical copies.
I do, and it doesn't quite have the same effect if you go, Alexa, play Kerry Ellis Feels Like Home. It doesn't quite. It's great to have that. So I did this myself before lockdown, and then obviously we all got shut down, and I put this on my website, and suddenly I turned into my own little production company, and I was signing them and sending them out myself, which was lovely. And it still felt like I had that connection and had that form of communication with my audience, which felt personal, which was really nice, and it gave me a bit of a lifeline, gave me a bit of purpose. And yeah, so the podcast was born out of the lockdown, because I needed to focus. I needed to do something, I needed.
Mine came from too. Absolutely.
Exactly. And I think I love a podcast. I like listening to them. And I thought this is a good time to do it. I'd done a few in the past, but not on my own. And I knew lots of my friends and people and colleagues and people that I'd worked with would be sitting at home and would probably talk to me over Zoom. So I thought, actually, this is a good time, because in a normal day, they would all be so busy. So this is perfect. So yeah, we're on season 2 at the moment. We kicked off season 2 with Sheridan Smith, which is great. We just had Leia on. And we've got another episode coming out this week, which is a little bit of a Halloween special.
Oh.
And I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Oh,
I like being on the other side of it. I like having something to focus on and to talk about, and it's been really, really fun. And the same with the book. The book was a bit of focus, something to plow my energy in, and hopefully once we get out of this COVID craziness, then I feel like I've done something. I come out and not just sat still for 6 months.
Can't say that you haven't achieved anything through it, because you have.
Thanks.
Some people that haven't, and there's some people that have, and you are in the ones that have. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Now, we'll move to the fans' questions.
Okay.
I only select 5 because I don't want them to go on for too long. So the fans' questions. The first one is from Georgia, and Georgia has asked, "What is your favorite song to perform at the moment?"
At the moment, apart from my new Christmas single, of course, I think it has to be "Feels Like Home," and that's not only because it's on my album. It's because I used to sing it a little bit at the Pheasantry before I recorded it, and I just always really enjoyed the simplicity of it, the lyrics, the melody, and then when I recorded it, people kind of seemed to catch on. It's the one song in the album people were like, I get it. So probably that. It's nice to sing, and it's slightly different, which I'm really enjoying. But all I can think about at the moment is, because I'm mixing and doing videos and stuff, is the Christmas song. So I know, for me, Christmas is already here. I've done, I'm hearing the bells.
You've been in Christmas for too long.
I know, but come Christmas, I'll be ready to get out.
Right, this is it now. I'm done.
I'll have had Christmas for 3 months.
I wish I had Christmas. Trevor's asked, if you forget a line on stage, what do you do?
Oh, it happens all the time. What do I do? Well, I don't know. It depends really what happens, who you're on stage with, what you're doing, what show you're doing. I mean, if I've done it before, it hasn't happened massively, actually. I joke about it. I've done it lyrically. I've messed up lyrics a lot.
Haven't we all?
But dialogue, I think as long as you have the intention and you know where you've got to get to, you can kind of get yourself out of it. And usually if you're on stage with somebody else, they can get you out of it too and give you a prompt or give you a hint of where you're going to. But it's the most scariest thing. Your heart just explodes. It's so frightening.
Yeah, no, terrifying. Olivia's asked, do you have a favorite theatre?
I have a few. I mean, the Albert Hall never gets boring. I'm so fortunate to have been able to perform there, and it just never gets boring. I love it there. It feels ironically intimate, considering how big it is. It just feels like you can see everybody.
Wow.
And I love it there. I love the Palladium. I loved the Dominion for a while, because obviously I was there for a long time, and it's so big, and it was our home for 2 years. But probably the Palladium and the Albert Hall, I think. Casual.
Amazing choices. I mean, not everyone can say they've been on them stages. And Amelie's asked, how did you feel performing for the first time after lockdown?
Emotional. I'd done a few little live streams through lockdown, which was nice but strange, because you could see all these people like pop up and comment, which was lovely. So you knew people were there. However, you still felt quite, can't hear anybody. It's because you can't hear anybody.
Where's the applause?
Which is weird. It's very strange. And you just need to hear that noise, that interaction. But the first time I performed was Voices of the West End, which was an open air. What was it? Or did I do the drive-in first? I can't remember. But it was socially distanced outside, and it was great. It was very emotional. I mean, I sang No One But You and got everyone to like put their torches on their phones. It was very atmospheric. It was emotional, because it just makes you feel, or makes you realize really what's happening to the arts, and it's so tragic and so sad. So I'm really mixed emotions. I mean, I'm working at Proud at the moment. I'm doing some shows at Proud Embankment at the moment.
Amazing.
which is a lot of fun, and I'm having a great time singing. But yeah, it is always laced with an element of sadness because of what else is happening in the West End and all over the country,
Yeah.
the
Hope-
world even. I mean, Broadway's in a right state.
Well, yeah, they are. They've really not had a great time with this at all.
Mhm.
And we're lucky we've managed to get some things back up now, because they haven't even had drive-ins yet, I don't think.
No, they're yeah, it's tough. I mean, New York is so difficult because they're so it's such a busy town city.
Yeah.
It's hard to get things up and running there. We're a bit more suburban. I guess we can do things out of town. But yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah. And your final fans question is from Rebecca, and she asked, what can we expect from a very Kerry Christmas?
Oh, well, I was meant to be performing at the Pheasantry for 3 nights, but the Pheasantry they've closed down all their London venues. So, which was a shame because I put 3 dates out, they sold out uber quick, and then they've closed. So I do have something coming to replace them though. So I've been working with Bravo Productions, who are fantastic young producers who are brilliant, who they filmed my live podcast that's coming out in a couple of weeks actually.
Oh.
No, it's coming out next week, Halloween, I think it's coming out. So they found a venue for me, so we might be just having a very Kerry Christmas but at a slightly different venue. It is in London and it's going to be announced this week, so it's coming, and the show will be all festive songs, a lot of fun, all my new Christmas song, just lots of people coming together, or as much as we can come together to just be celebrating and sing some lovely Christmas songs. So that'll be it. Me too. I love it.
I mean, you're stuck in it for a while now, so you've got to love it.
That's it. I'm embracing.
So now we're through the fans' questions. The last thing today is a little quiz on how well you know Wicked.
Oh dear, probably not very well.
To be fair, you should do all right in this. It's not that bad.
Okay.
The first question is, how many tracks are in the original Broadway cast recording?
No idea. I would say.
Take a wild guess.
24.
19.
Oh my god!
Close to 24 though. You were not far off with that.
Well, I wasn't sure if it was a double album, double CD. I didn't know.
Well, there was 19 to the finale, so.
So wrong.
That's that. You're wrong. Finish the lyric now. And I was like, I can't choose one of your lyrics because you'll know. So
I won't know. That's the funny thing. I won't know. Go on.
Only thing I'm giving you is, I've heard of an ox.
Oh God. I know the bit. It's all about there's an ox that now can't speak is having its voice taken away, but I couldn't tell you what the lyric is. Go on, what is it?
A professor from Quarks.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah. You've always just been like, what's my next line? What's my
Well, no, but you just blissfully you don't I just have no idea.
Yeah.
It's kind of like doing my thing. Wow.
The next one is about sort of the origin of Wicked. Who wrote the novel? As in Wicked, The Life and Times of
Gregory Maguire.
Yes,
I do know
there
that
you
one.
go. So she's got this one. And this is some trivia that I didn't know, and I just found out. Which Broadway actress read the role of Elphaba before Idina Menzel took over the role?
Stephanie J. Block?
Yes. Okay.
Go.
This is an easy question. What is the first solo song sung by Elphaba in the show?
Oh, The Wizard and I.
Yeah.
I should know that one.
I was nice at the end.
At least I got a few. Yay!
At the beginning, but I was nice at the end. So now all that's left to do is firstly remind everyone that I'm trying to raise a little bit of money for Acting for Others. If anyone can donate a little bit, there'll be a link in the description. Anything anyone can give would be absolutely fantastic, because it is such a great cause. And also to check the social media pages for who's coming up next, who's going to be in this Zoom call. Who knows? I know, you don't know. And of course, thank you, Kerry, for coming in. It's been such an honor speaking to you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. And thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next one.